Hello and welcome back to part 5 of my honeymoon vlogs. This time is in Bangkok. We didn't really plan to go to Bangkok or try to go to Bangkok. It just kind of happened because basically if you're going from Thailand to Cambodia, at least if you're flying into Siem Reap, you pretty much have to go through Bangkok. I'm not sure if maybe Chiang Mai has flights as well, but we were coming from Koh Lanta, or from the Krabi airport, because we were coming from Lanta. It was cheaper to go through Bangkok in order to go to Siem Reap by a lot of money. So we decided, you know what, let's just spend 2 nights in Bangkok and then get a better deal on the flight. So we flew into Bangkok late at night, actually, I believe. We did not leave Lanta until around like dinner time, I think. So when we flew in, I remember there was such a big thunderstorm going on. I really don't have very much footage from it, probably because I was just so dead at that point. But I remember as we flew in, you could see in the distance, and maybe you can see it in some of this footage, you can just see like flashes of lightning like crazy. And when we landed in Bangkok, we were in the cab headed to our hostel, and there was so much lightning. It was just like constant flashes, like every 2 seconds there was a flash of lightning. We really didn't have anything planned for Bangkok. So Eric had actually been to Bangkok before, but didn't spend much time there. I had never been, but I really never had a strong desire to see Bangkok, so I didn't really know what to do there. So we kind of just figured it out as we went, which we were staying at a great place to do so, because we were staying at a backpacking hostel called Oasis Hostel. We were like one of the few peoples with like luggage there. It was really funny. So we got a private room with a double bed, shared bathroom, very modest room. There was air conditioning, but there wasn't really space to hang out, so we did not spend very much time there, which actually turned out to be really fun because we would just like go out in the common area, which is outside, and there was a bunch of seating, and there's a desk for this company called OnPoint Travel. I highly recommend them because the guys that I met who work at that desk are really genuinely wanting to help backpackers get really good deals on things and tourists to basically not get ripped off. They told us about like the whole, basically what is like a tuk-tuk mafia in Bangkok, and it was a really crazy story, but basically they themselves have been ripped off many times. They've seen people ripped off, and so they created OnPoint Travel to basically help people out and make sure that people are getting the best deals that they can. So I highly recommend OnPoint Travel. I know this is not sponsored in any way, I just really genuinely thought they were awesome. But the crap part about when we got there was that we did want to do, you know, some Bangkok style partying, and it was a Buddhist holiday. Beginning at midnight, the very first night, and we got in, you know, after dinner time, like late-ish at night. And at midnight that night, they were going to stop selling alcohol for the Buddhist holiday. So during these Buddhist holidays, you're not legally allowed to sell alcohol. So the first thing we did was go to Khao San Road, and I took this clip, which I'll insert right now.
We just got to Bangkok, and the main reason we're in Bangkok is because of the price of the flights, the availability of the flights, and it's the location, everything. It just made sense to come here. So we are on Khao San Road, which is like the famous drinking road in Thailand. And the reason we're here tonight is because the next 2 days there's a Buddhist holiday and you can't buy alcohol. So we got to get our fill tonight, and then we're going to be apparently sober the next 2 days. So that should be interesting.
The funny part about this clip is that we actually realized that we were not on Khao San Road later on. So the clips that you see right now are from, I'm not sure what the name of the road is, so I'm going to look it up and insert it right here so you can see what the name of it is. But it is not Khao San Road, it's just a nearby like party street. They were like, oh, you're gonna walk down and you're not gonna be able to miss Khao San Road. And we're like, okay. So we turn and we look at the street and we're like, wow, this is busy. Lots of people, lots of live music, bars, restaurants, and it wasn't even Khao San Road. We didn't even think to look at a street sign. But that's okay, we had a great time. We had dinner there, we watched some live music, we tried to drink as much as possible before midnight, and then we stood in this huge line at 7-Eleven, and we had like, oh my gosh, what did we buy? We bought like a bottle of rum, we bought a bottle of wine, we bought some beers. We were like, these are our rations for the next few days. So we're only staying 2 nights. We actually ended up not drinking all of it, what a surprise, and gifting a bunch of it to the hostel, which they're very excited about. But I will say, if you do end up there on a Buddhist holiday, it is possible to find people who are willing to sell you alcohol. It's really not that big of a deal to sit outside at the hostel with a bottle of beer and drink it. It is a big deal to walk around with a shopping bag that shows that you clearly just bought a bottle of beer. It's the buying more than the consuming during the Buddhist holiday. The party on the streets, though, was real because of the Buddhist holiday coming up. So everyone who's on the street knows that they can't buy alcohol, after midnight. So everyone was going hard and they were all dancing in the streets. It was really fun. The next morning we went to a cafe that was situated on a canal. It was really pretty. I'll look up the name of this place. We actually ended up going there 2 or 3 times. They have a decent Western breakfast, which was exciting. And the guy there was really, really nice. I actually ended up going back and buying a bunch of fruit shakes from them at different points. They were sweet. We got a bunch of takeout and all kinds of stuff. So the hostel we stayed at is actually pretty tucked away. It's not far from Khao San Road, but it's not loud at all. Like, I was kind of worried that it was going to be a loud area. It's actually a very residential area. It's touristy, but it's still residential. You kind of walk back through these alleyways. We actually got lost trying to find this hostel. It is a little difficult to find, but once you find it, it's cool because it's so tucked away. There actually were so many good looking places to eat around there, and I will insert the name of our favorite one that we ate at right here. We had the most amazing breakfast there. It is so good, and it's super close to the hostel. By the way, this hostel was very cheap, so if you're looking for very minimal lodging in Bangkok with people who are super down to earth and totally get the backpacking lifestyle. I mean, I'm not even sure I fully get it, but these people are living the life of the backpacker. So if you're into that whole scene, definitely try staying here. It does sell out really quickly because it's a very popular hostel and they don't have very many rooms. So the very next day we thought, okay, it's a Buddhist holiday, we should go to some temples. We asked the guy at the desk at OnPoint Travel what the best temples to see were. He recommended that we not go to the big one. I can't remember the name of it. I will insert it here. It's a very, very large temple in Bangkok. It's probably the biggest one, and it's the one that all the tourists want to go to. And since it was a holiday, he suggested we don't go there. It's also very expensive compared to the other ones. So we went to his 2 suggestions, which were the Golden Mount, which you are about to see, and then the one that has the reclining Buddha. I can't remember the name of it, but you're going to see that one next. So first is the Golden Mount, and this one was pretty cool. It was only 20 baht to get in, which is very, very cheap. It was definitely almost a Disneyland temple type experience. It was more on the develop fake feeling side. My favorite part of the whole thing though was, okay, so basically you walk up this large hill as you do at most Buddhist temples. You just walk up these stairs, and then as you're going up, there's all these bells lined up. And so the whole thing is that you hit each of the one, you all walk down in a line and everyone hits them, which you can see right now. And I think the entire idea of this is that there's just a constant noise going on. And it's kind of like a noise of worship or meditation, I'm not exactly sure, but and then there's this giant gong, so there's just constant noise going on. It's kind of like a celebratory type of feel. The theme of this temple is just keep going up, go up, go up, go up, around in circles until you get to the very top, which is the Golden Mount. And unfortunately, they were doing quite a bit of construction, so the temple itself actually wasn't that impressive to me after all the Chiang Mai temples that we had just seen that are so gorgeous. But the great part was that the sky was blue with just the right amount of clouds, and you could see the city, and it was really high up, and I'm a sucker for finding the place in the city that's a high viewing point. So I thought the views were really, really pretty, especially with the sky looking the way it did. It was just very dramatic looking, which I really liked. I think what was possibly my least favorite part of this temple was the number of people once you got to the top and you got inside. Because in the inside there's this little walkway that feels very old, and there's all these people just crammed in, and I was like, Eric, I want to try it because we're here, let's experience it. I wish I hadn't have even bothered, because you basically, as you can see, you walk into this teeny little tunnel, you try to push your way into the line of people doing the circles around, and then we actually only got a quarter of the way around the circle, and we were like, okay, that's enough. I'm bouncing. You can see we're really sweaty. There are like no air conditioning. There's just a couple fans in there. Not cute, not nice at all. What you can see right here is people actually donating to purchase a little square of gold leaf. And then they go and they add the gold leaf onto the Buddha. And it's like on this paper, so you press it on there and then you like peel the paper off. If you go to a Buddhist temple and you see a Buddha that looks like it's flaking gold off of it, it's because people have put gold leaf on. Now this temple is awesome. This particular building that we went into is one of my favorite temple buildings I've ever been in Thailand. Basically they've got a lot of black and gold, which I like, and then it's so contrasted with the like intricate like wallpaper pattern that's almost like a Middle Eastern or like Moroccan type of design on it. Faded and earthy looking. They've got all the paintings everywhere. Giant gold Buddha. It's just like so much contrast and cool. Like, I don't know, I just really liked it. And this Buddha, in case you can't tell, this Buddha is huge. This is, I believe, the largest reclining Buddha in the world. So reclining Buddha is like, you know, a Buddha that's laying on its side, basically. I loved the toes, actually. The bottom of the feet were like really heavily decorated, and the toes were like really shiny and had like black on them. It's really interesting. Other than the reclining Buddha, there are a lot of really, really pretty buildings inside this temple complex as well. And it was really cool because since we were there on a Buddhist holiday, we actually ended up getting a meal for free. I'm not really sure how that worked out. And we also got to watch a bunch of different like traditions going on. So one of them is you buy, I believe what it is it's a wax shape of the birth year that you are. So basically, I'm a horse, I'm the year of the horse. So I would purchase the wax that is in the shape of a horse. They would melt that down, add it to this big pot of like melted wax that they have. What you do after you purchase that is you go stand in line, and then they give you this big thing, which you can see right here. You scoop out some melted wax, you pour it into the big mold, and then basically what's happening is over time, all these people are forming one huge candle. And you can see in this clip, it really is a huge candle. So we walked around this temple for a while. It was super hot, but luckily since there's so many buildings, most of the areas in this temple were very shaded. One thing I thought was very interesting about Bangkok temples too is that because there are so many people, they don't want you to leave your shoes anywhere. When we walked in, they had bags, and you take your shoes off, you put them in a bag, and everyone's carrying their shoes around in a plastic bag. So I thought that was pretty funny. I think mainly what it is they don't want it to be a huge cluster when everyone like comes back and tries to get their shoes. I just thought the old architecture of this temple was really, really cool. Honestly, I'm not sure where all this like design comes from. I believe that this is a bunch of different temples that were kind of integrated together to create one large temple complex, because it does look like some of this stuff is from completely different times and completely different styles of like architecture and design and temple building and all that kind of stuff. Oh, and by the way, we took a cab to the first temple, and we took a tuk-tuk to the second temple, and we took a cab home. The cab rides ended up being cheaper than the tuk-tuk rides. So do not take a tuk-tuk in Bangkok, okay? Just don't do it. They'll overcharge you. They didn't even drop us off in front of the temple. He dropped us off across the street because he saw a friend, and so he pulled over and he's like, oh, it's right over there. We were like, are you serious? You're gonna drop us off right here? And then whatever. I mean, we just like wanted to get out of this freaking tuk-tuk. He was super crazy, but they're like a whole gang there. The tuk-tuk gang of Bangkok. Do not mess with them. One of the coolest things in Bangkok to me was because there's so many people, how condensed these little street markets are. So as you can see, we're walking down a sidewalk, and there's regular shops on one side, and then on the other side there's temporary stalls set up. It's like a farmer's market, but like ridiculously compact. The streets were super tight. If you wanted to stop and buy something, you would just have people brushing against you all the time. So that's another thing, another tip about Bangkok, watch your purse. Overall, I personally think that Bangkok is less friendly towards tourists, and I think people there are just less friendly in general. I'm not saying there aren't friendly people in Bangkok, but I'm saying I think people put on their city face a little bit more than the last two places we had been. Like Chiang Mai is fairly relaxed, people are very kind and slow. Koh Lanta's like even slower and relaxed. People there were like super nice. And then Bangkok was like a rude city awakening. It was pretty funny. So our very, very last day there, we got up in the morning and we had some breakfast. And then what we did is we decided to go to a pool. So we actually found from, thank you to Oasis Hostel and OnPoint Travel, they recommended that we go to, I will insert the name of it here because I don't remember it off the top of my head, but yes, it is a hotel that has a pool and a fitness area that you can pay for entrance into. So we paid to use the pool just for a couple hours. I don't remember exactly how much it is, but it was not expensive. They give you towels and you just go up to the pool. It's a rooftop pool. We were just so hot. It was so hot in Bangkok. So we just wanted to cool off and just relax and not do exploring. Our feet were tired. So we just kind of floated around, hung out in the pool. You really didn't sit around it too much because it's a rooftop and it's like you're wet. So the sun was just relentless. But we kind of hung out in that area. And then once we got our fill at the pool, we actually went down one floor to the fitness center and we played ping pong. It was also very cheap to rent the ping pong paddles and the ball and do that for like, I think we played like 2 or 3 games against each other. That was really, really fun. So we just pretty much relaxed. We got lunch on the actual Khao San Road. And then we spent the rest of the day hanging out at the hostel. One thing I found very, very interesting while we were at the hostel is the conversations that I had with foreigners about the Thai royal government situation. I'm not going to say anything one way or the other on it, but Thailand, as many of you know, is in a state of turmoil right now as far as the government goes. The king has been in power for a very, very long time, and I think even if people were fed up with the king's rule, they would be too scared to say anything about it. The big thing you get out of Bangkok is like, people are like, long live the king. Like, I even saw a lady with a bracelet that said long live the king on it. It was really weird. I'm just not used to it being from America. Like, we don't have kings. It's just really fascinating to hear from people who have lived in Bangkok for years and who are married to local Thai people, to just hear about the situation between the citizens and their government. I don't want to go into too much opinion or detail about it, so if you are curious, I would definitely just do a quick Google search because it is very interesting and something that is going on right now. Anyways, on a lighter note, as we sat there drinking our early afternoon beers before our flight out to Siem Reap, we got to watch the hostel. She's like the hostel mom, basically. She's so sweet. She's a Thai lady. She does all the cleaning, all the organizing, the bedding. She just maintains everything. She's like a real hostel mom. And she also pretty much cares for this dog. This dog was found, I think they call it Bow Wow. It's just called Bow Wow. One of the guys from OnPoint Travel, this guy found the dog on the streets of Bangkok. The leg was really messed up, so you can see this dog has like kind of a messed up paw. She's like the happiest little dog now. It's so, so cute. I'm just gonna call her the hostel mom. So the hostel mom was just like playing with the dog with a towel, and we got to see that like cute moment. I'm sure this happens all the time. Just playing with the dog, feeding the dog, cuddling with the dog. It's just so sweet. I love dogs, and it was really sweet to see like how this hostel and these people really genuinely care for something that they found on the street. I don't know, I'm rambling too much, but I thought it was really sweet. If you go stay at this hostel, definitely say hi to the dog for me. That's it for my Bangkok vlog. But next week, oh gosh, this is gonna be a beast to edit. Next week is going to be all about Angkor Wat. Ooh, that's gonna take up my week. It's gonna take the whole freaking week. So next Sunday, you can look forward to that vlog. I'm gonna go through all the temples we went to. We toured temples for 9 hours, so I'm hoping it's enough to satisfy you guys. Thank you so much for watching this vlog. I will see you very soon. And if you haven't, be sure to click that little red subscribe button below so you don't miss my next video. Thanks again, bye.
No.